So a while back I made a video on how Paragon Towers would look like if they could be buffed, and that video used a mod where you could buy the Paragon Towers from the shop, and those would be buffable. And I only covered the 2 Paragons that are out at the time, but since then, well, there's 4 more Paragons that are added, and now I want to see, from Ninja Paragon all the way to the release of the Ace Paragon Galactic Doom ship, how far can they get if we can now buff them? So we'll use a Golden Village mod, along with all the other buffs that I probably don't need to explain, but let's begin. So I should clarify in advance that all these Paragons are degree 1. So just to give you some reference point, the degree 1 Paragon Ninja Paragon got to 162 unbuffed on the same game mode and difficulty as what we're playing on right now. And yeah, based on looks of this, there's no surprise that it's gonna absolutely blow by that round. In fact, again, just another reference point for the Dart and Boomer Paragon. The max degree 1 versions of those even surpassed the degree 100. And not just by a little bit, but like by a landslide, so the degree 100 Ninja Paragon got to 219, so we're probably expecting, my guess, at least 250. In fact, these may not actually be all the buffs that we could possibly give to the Ninja. I believe, well, I'll test if this mod allows Shinobi stacks to be added. Unfortunately, no. I would assume it's because it doesn't get counted as a Ninja, because this is technically separate from like the Ninja from the shop over here. Yeah, I have to assume like a no Shinobi army. But if there was a Shinobi army, well, it'd probably break the amount of rounds that are even available in this challenge, if I'd guess. Also, because this ninja is now shooting so fast, we can actually see more of its stun effect in action, thanks to the blue shurikens. For those who don't know, it's only the blue shurikens that stun, which I believe is every 8th shot from, like, the main gray shurikens, which basically all but guarantees that anything but a bad is easily going to be beaten. And as for how far no bads get, yeah, there's quite a long time for it to go, I would guess. Alright, we're cutting the crap and skipping all the way to around 200, so let's take a look at the single target DPS of the Ninja. About 40,000 or so. Now, surprisingly, looking at this, I actually don't feel like it's going to make it to, or destroy the degree 100 record like I assumed it would. Because again, there's not really any more buffs I can give after this point, because no Shinobis. So if bads already get nearly halfway, pretty sure they scale more than double that amount in 50 rounds, but yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. And also thanks to the increased attack speed, we basically spread the sticky bomb damage on basically every bat at once. For those who don't know, actually maybe I'll just put it on strong, just so we guarantee that the sticky bombs land on all the bats at all times. And of course, since they seek, we'll get the stun on them regardless. But yeah, max buff degree 1 has so much more utility than degree 100 because the attack speed only increases by about double from degree 1 to 100. But because, again, most of the max buffs come in the form of attack speed, it's basically at least a 6 times multiplier if you include Overclock, Ultra Boost, Homeland, Jungle Drums, Azalea, True Sun God, Perm Brew. I stand corrected from what I said earlier. The Ninja Paragon degree 100 died a bit earlier than this, skipping all the way to around 230, and it actually doesn't look like the bads are progressing at all. Didn't like around 200 get to like this 3rd log? I suppose that's a good sign, and I suppose I stand corrected because 250 certainly looks possible at this point. In fact, don't mind if I just skip all the way there right now. They've only made it 1 extra log in that 20 round difference. And again, the amount of bads don't really matter that much because there's so many second ones being thrown that at least 1 is guaranteed to be on the bads. That's a lot of shurikens right there. Now let's take a look at the DPS we're capping out on. I'm seeing 500k, 600k, alright. 900 for that, 1.4 million for that one frame. Although obviously not sustained, because I'm pretty sure the burst damage of the sticky is the reason why it like bounces widely. And it looks like bads are now turning or making it to the last log, so I predict about 5 more rounds or so. Yup, this might be the end, fellas. 258. And there's a lot of bats being popped, pretty much at the exit, so I gotta have the stun come in clutch here. And it does come in clutch, but I think we lack damage on the final bat there, yep. So close, but that's pretty much the end right there. Again, not too surprising considering the results of the previous 2 Paragons I tested. But once again, you can only imagine if I could Shinobi buff them, how much higher we would get. Now, next in chronological order would be the Bow Paragon, but I actually want to work from the ones that got the least rounds next. So, Edgy Paragon, precisely back when I tested it, got to round 170 and 207 for degree 100. Now, I believe there's a fatal flaw in this mod, in that you actually can't buff the spawn sentries, which pretty sure are the ones that will do the most damage. As you see, red sentry and blue sentry, they are not coded to, unfortunately, be their own thing. Even though, like, when I hover over them, kind of see that they have the buffs, but nope. They're just plain degree 1, so I guess this is going to be a slightly flawed test, and a quick one at that. We'll just see how much difference it makes for the NG, the main attack of the NG then. Which at this point, to no surprise, will probably be the strongest damager. I guess in a way it might be more interesting, because we don't know exactly how far it's going to survive, unlike the other ones, where we know it's at least like 40 rounds past the normal degree 100. So it might be interesting to get like a pretty close comparison. Obviously, these don't do 0 damage, but... So I'll just make sure to put them on like strong. Because yeah, bads are the biggest problem, but so far, so good it seems. Don't forget to the Master Builder self-overclocks itself each round, so after 30 rounds or so, it'll be at max overclock stacks. So it's only gaining in power, which is why the bads are only making a tiny inch of progress every single round here. I guess if you compare the damage of the mini Paragons compared to the main Master Builder, then yeah, it's like 3% of the damage at this point, so maybe the micro doesn't really matter too much. On that note, the explosions too, they wouldn't be buffed anyways by like max buffs, because attack speed and damage, not really. Of course, I'm still going to use it when it gets close though, and honestly, maybe Resort might have been a better map if had I known the Master Builder was going to work like this. Australian action might get more bats at once, because right now it's like, if there's multiple bats, and yeah, save the line, ISAB. If there's too many space bats, then the tower will fall behind. Okay, we're starting to approach some scare rounds, so I gotta put it on first for at least some moments, because its stunning attack with the nails is very crucial, except it's not like the Ninja Shuriken where the stunning attack can seek. So I need to find a careful balance between first and strong. So, time to see if the bad damage there and how much single target we have. 15,000, so only a third of that of the Ninja Paragon. Don't forget, I can get a slight boost by doing some explosions. I feel like because, again, we're only able to target one at a time, it's the second bad that's gonna likely kill us, if anything. Yeah, I'll definitely pop one of them, alright, but number 2 is not looking possible at this rate. I'll try to see what I can do just by having a bunch of strong targeting at all times, even ignoring the FBFs. Back to first for a moment, though. Back to strong, and first, and strong. I don't think whatever I do, though, it's gonna be popped. I'm not gonna lie, pretty close, though. 15% HP to go, but honestly, 15 is a lot when there's not really much we can improve on, so yeah, 200 is the end. Now, with the last 2 Paragons, the Ace Paragon's actually the one that got to the lowest round, but I do want to test the Navark of the Seas first, because I'm pretty sure the only reason why the Bull Paragon got further is because of the bad one-shot ability. But because we have max buffs on these towers, I would assume that the stronger the tower is, the less important the one-shots are, because we get to like insane rounds like 250 or so, where there's just far too many F-bads for 2 hook-ins around to really make much of a difference. That makes sense. Because like on 219, there's still like only 3 F-bads in a round or something like that. Yeah, these are all the buffs that we currently have on the boat, including the 20% from the aircraft carrier, so nice. And I don't know if the 10% attack speed on last applies, because again, these are separate towers from like the boat, sub, and the sniper, which the monkey knowledge gets 10% more attack speed of, but I'll just put it on last just cause. Yeah, you can already tell if it makes a difference just by testing it later on, but for now, yeah. Last is the way it's gonna blow by these early rounds here. Yes, imagine being so strong that by late game standards, 169 is considered very early. So this is the round that Degree 1 Bolt Paragon unbuffed died to. Meanwhile, this thing still beats things in the first corner, even bads, not even using hook in. Now I could hook these bads in, but I'm just gonna show you how much damage we're getting. So 100,000 single target, that's double the amount that the ninja gets. For those who didn't want to do the math, pretty epic if I had to say so myself. And now jumping all the way to the round that Degree 100 Bolt died to. And just effects too, I'm not gonna use any abilities. Okay, that's actually a pretty easy round. I guess I might have had an easier seed last time, because there are no F-bats everywhere for some reason. That's why, again, when some of you guys may test this yourself, I know a couple of you have left comments over time about how far you got in, like, 1 tower challenges, and sometimes some of you guys actually got further than me. And that's not because, well, actually it might be good because you're better. I'm definitely not the best player out there. But sometimes a round might be impossible for me, that might be possible for you, so just keep that with a grain of salt. At least for rounds past 140, because those are randomized now. Likewise, there's a chance you might be better than me, but you can't beat my highest round because your seed just got absolutely unlucky. So, seeing how much more powerful this is compared to the Ninja Paragon, we're just gonna skip straight to 250 once more. I guess the only issue is that there's no stunning, so gotta rely on raw damage here. So there's even a chance that DTs might kill us. Single turret DPS, it's already higher than the Ninja Paragon. Saw 1.4 million at one point. And once again, no abilities, just to show you that we're capable of so much more with Mr. Bolt Paragon here. Easy round. I'll skip the last targeting and go straight to strong now. Just in case it doesn't make a difference, and we can try last if we end up failing around. But for now, I think I need to focus the darts on the F-bat at least. Alright, enough goofing around here. I think it's actually time to start taking it serious. We'll start using the hooking abilities. Those ZMG insights are getting very deep. So when you hook it in, you want to like make sure you don't hook in like no HP F-bats like I did right there. That was kind of a bad hook in. Again, no pun intended. But I guess we're fine, because we can beat the 3 of those groups. Felt kind of close without the natural hook in. This round here, I'm just going to hook in that 1 F-bad. Hopefully, the cooldown comes up to get another bad here. I should mention that the cooldowns actually don't get reduced from degree 1 to 100. At least we're working with the degree 1 cooldown, because it does get twice the cooldown. Also, we died to SRAMs there. But yeah, I guess that's the one catch. Maybe I should use one hook in very early then. Like, I'll hook in the first one so we target this one faster. And then we'll be able to hook an extra F-bad for the end of this round. That's going to be very important for the Ace Paragon, because a lot of the damage comes from the Carbon Bomb, so I guess there's still a good chance that the Naval of the Seas max buff remains king. But yeah, watch this here. I'm going to hook in this one, and then we only have one left, and that should make it a lot easier. So much so I can put it in first. And yep, natural hook in will get DTs. Or not. I guess it was still on cooldown or something. Regardless, I guess it's a good time to try last targeting whenever possible, just to see if it'll make a difference at all. Alright, new strat. Let's just hook in the last F-bad. Okay. I don't know how I'm dying with DTs with that much distance. Let's take a look at this one more time here. So DTs, yep, there's no natural hook in. Let's try the following strategy. I'm going to leave it on last and hook in this F-bad over here immediately. Because the last two are like, they're kind of clumped together, so I guess I could damage both at once. Like, if that makes any sense, we'll pop it a bit earlier in the track, so come on. I'll do last starting now, just in case it makes a difference. And let's see. This has got to do it. No. Well, I'm done. I've tried this round a dozen times. It might be possible to get through it, but we'll leave it at that for now. And now let's test the final Paragon. So here we go. Let's get her down right over here. I just realized that Ace Micro is going to be a nightmare, because this is not really a great Ace spot. It's too down-oriented. But regardless, I will try my best and see where that takes us. So I think there's one problem with the Ace Paragon here, at least the one from the shop, is that I actually can't give it the 20% buff. As you see, there's no 20% buff from that one. I guess I gotta test by dropping an Ace Paragon here. Nope, this one doesn't. And what if I did the official Naval Paragon? That also does not buff it. Not that I would keep it anyways, but yeah. So unfortunately, we're missing a 15% speed buff, which I guess there's not much I can do about that. And also, I don't think I could target the card bombs here. At least the modded one. So it's gotta be left with the default top left to bottom right targeting. Yikes. But I guess not that the damage would matter much anyways, because again, it's like when you buff the attack speed, I don't think that buffs the damage of the card bombs at all. And neither do damage buffs really make much of a difference. Alright, I guess one thing I can do here to simulate the aircraft carrier buff is to just use the rate changer mod. So it gives you precisely a 17.6% attack speed increase. 1 over 0.85 for those curious. Once again, we're going to skip the BS and go right to 200. It looks like this DPS is about similar to Ninja Paragon. If the Ace is like far away, I saw it peaked at like 100k when it was right on top of it. So again, feels like Micro is going to be of the utmost importance. I guess for single target balloons, Wing Monkey is alright to do for now. And now all the way to 250, so I might need to start doing some Micro here. Maybe just a little bit of reverse targeting to change where the Ace is, if it's in a weak spot. Like, for example, I want to get the F-Bats there, so I'll reverse it again. This bat's gonna pop very late, so let's do a Carbon Bomb. Wait for it now. And then reverse targeting once again, right? Okay, we don't have to. That stun came clutch, though. And, okay, looks like I died to SRAM. So that was the problem with the Ace Paragon. Like, the darts going everywhere is simply too unreliable that even stray SRAMs can get through. So we need to give, like, a lot of leeway for DDTs and whatnot. One more Carbon Bomb, and I think we're... Yeah, this is way better. Far better of a run. These two bats are probably really late, so it's probably the end. Since I still have that Carbon Bomb on cooldown, yeah. So again, that's where the lack of cooldown decrease hurts the Ace Paragon. Even though we have the Energizer, it simply doesn't make up the 50% we usually get. Probably gotta do some better Micro this round. Like, I'll do Wing Monkey. Back to Circle. Back to Figure Infinite, for those wondering. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing here. But I'm doing my best. I'll do reverse targeting here to snipe the BFBs, because I'm probably dead. Yep. Okay, I think we're finally starting to get the hang of 254 here. This run looks absolutely amazing. I'll just keep my curve bomb. I don't think it really does much damage at this point. We just gotta stay for like DDTs basically, so come on. Nice. And here's the last pad. So again, Wing Monkey, back to infinite. And I survived without Carbon Bomb too, so that's good. Not sure how much longer I can keep this up though. I keep dying to like, or at least having to need a restart every single round here. Get the God tier micro. At this rate though, yeah, we can definitely tell it's not gonna make it 16 rounds. Yeah, we're only peaking at 1.1 million damage. And that's like at the best case scenario. I'll do one Carbon Bomb because I think that one's gonna pop really soon. So let's see. That was good. Good stun. We're probably dead to the FCMGs here. If we can't beat FCMG at this point, then yeah, we're definitely boned. That's about where I expected it to end. Anyways, that's it for today. Yeah. Leave a like, because my account actually got flagged by playing these mods somehow in Challenge Editor. So, in the long line of balance changes in the recent updates, there is one to Adora, which buffed her pretty significantly. Enough that we have to redo the one hero test to see, well, how long she survives now. I'll go over the patch notes in a little bit, but for now, let me remind you guys what round she got to. So normal Adora, which is what we're testing right now, got to round 104. So we're just starting here at 100 just to see what how much stronger she is. So let's go over the patch notes. First off, the long armor light cooldown got reduced 10 more seconds, so now you can freely use this with less consequence. On top of that, fortified damage was increased to for main attack and to the ball of light. So that won't really affect the bad damage over here because it's not fortified, but it's pretty nasty. Main attack +4, ball of light +20 at level 20, which is insane. Because if you didn't know, the ball of light does about 20 damage already, so it's basically doing double damage to fortifieds. It's like the fortifieds aren't even fortified at that point. So yeah, pretty insane. I think Ninja Kiwi's reasoning for this was that they just didn't have any hero that was a fortification buster, so they decided to choose Adora. Anyways, you'll probably be able to see here, when I use the ability now, how much faster that FCMG dies. Do you see? Absolutely melting. Also, because of that buff to Adora's level 3, her uptime is basically now like 67%, I would say, on the ability. Like, just watch here, over in the bottom left. Yeah, that's pretty much 2/3 uptime, so you can pretty much juggle at least a ball of light and a ball of light at all times. Or should I say long armor light. So yeah, this round, if we beat it, new record, which you probably should since there's a lot of fortifieds here. Go ahead and leave the ball of light on first, but it feels like sometimes it doesn't do so well because it takes its sweet time popping one fortified balloon down. But hey, at least it's faster now. So yeah, there we go. Mob's done. BFB's left. And well, that was easy, right? Yeah, I got to the latest bend, but overall, not too shabby. Also, since I didn't showcase it last update, here is Void Adora, how level 20 looks like. We'll also do the Transform Adora, don't worry about it. We'll also do the super buff test in this one, so yeah, it'll be quite a jam-packed one, so stay tuned. Anyways, just to remind you guys, you need to sacrifice every minute a $2,500 upgrade. I'm just doing the MIP just because it's part of the one hero test. It doesn't really affect us that much. But yeah, as long as that's active, you get basically double the amount of attack speed on your main attack. It doesn't affect ball of light, but yeah, having double damage to that main ball of light is very helpful. You'll see right here how much easier it makes 108. And yeah, here it is with the ability active, just destroying those ZMGs. That FZMG damage coming in clutch. I might even be able to beat this round without using any of the ball of light. Correct ability? Yeah, that'll clean up nicely. It's just good to have in case the next round's hard, so I have the ability up immediately. 109's looking kind of tight. I already lost a bit of lives to Ceramic, but I'll take it if we still survive it. And we do. Nice. Now, we should mention that you might notice it freezing here. Nothing I can do. This update, they made the game performance a little bit worse somehow. Unlucky. Okay, guys, this round's looking pretty impossible. Come on, hanging by a thread. If we get the ball light ability up, I think we can clutch up. And yes, we do. Cool. Oh, as I said, the ball light, if it's chasing on first one ceramic, it just doesn't seem to do a whole lot. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but this round's looking really rough. There's just too many ZMGs, and it's actually hard to juggle the abilities because their cooldowns are a little bit different, so I can't technically have one going all times. At least I'm trying to, but it's pretty rough. So you see here, I'm out of the ball light ability, and I am dead. I've already tried this round multiple times. about a dozen or so. But every single attempt seems to end about there, so looks like that's 1-1-1 for Adora. Plus 7 rounds from last time. So now we pull out the True Sun God so that we get the True Sun God transformation, which increases your damage by 8 for all attacks. And yeah, previously, again, 138 is what she got to. So we'll see how much further it gets now. Now, there's one change I didn't mention yet that was actually last update that might have gone overlooked, but the True Sun God Ball of Light ability got increased from 28 damage to 100, and the Pierce 43 to 48. So yeah, that should make a massive difference, especially stacking with a Fortified buff. So perhaps past 140 might be possible now. And yes, just in case you guys don't know, the Vengeful and the normal True Sun God buff is the exact same. Ignore the typo in the wiki. Sometimes Wikipedia might have incorrect info. But yeah, here's 138. We'll see if we need to use Ball Light at all for this one. Or can Adora's attack speed keep up? Well, so far it's keeping up. I might have to use it. No, I'll use the ability now that's down off cooldown. Turns out it's pretty important, but yeah, I think now we're good. Ability again. And done. And now behold the Ball of Light damage on those fortified. So activate, and we'll see how quickly that F-Bat's taken down. Oh yeah, one ability, and it gets about, it looks like about a third of the damage. I could be wrong though, but that's pretty good. Because I think we can cycle 3 abilities before it exits, ideally. Yeah, it's looking pretty tight, but I think it'll pop right as we get the third one up. So now, both abilities at once, sacrifice all, and please be beatable, okay. Now it's down to the ZMGs, but the Ball Lights can disappear right here, which is going to be bad. I have this ability at least, but I don't know if that's enough. Looks like we have to retry this round a couple times, perhaps. So what I think I have to do here is actually just save the Ball Light for when it's very close to popping, and then use the Ball Light ability so that it one-shots the FZMGs as well. So I'm going to wait late. How about now? If this method doesn't work, then I don't know what will. But, come on. Does the Ball Light last long enough? I don't think so. It's going to disappear about now. BPs? Oh, okay. I guess I have to wait like 10 more seconds or so, or 5 more seconds on the Ball Light ability there. Okay, when I mean late, I mean turning this bend late, so let's go. Hopefully not too late for DTs. Close. And yeah, again, nothing I can do from this point on, so come on, Ball Light. Save me. Wow, that was close. Okay, but the thing is, right, I forgot about the second bad. I don't think we can kill this if we wait too long for the first one. So we might only get +2 rounds on the Vengeful. Yeah, I don't know. This next Ball Light has to just kill the bad immediately, but I don't think it's going to be enough. There's no way. Yeah, not enough track length, so wow. Close, but unfortunately no cigar. But again, don't make that +2 rounds make you think that it's not a good buff, because again, just 140 is just a big power spike in general. Now let's go over onto the super buff towers. Okay, and now for the super buff Adora test. For those who don't know, previously she got to round 175, and the eventual Adora got to 197. On that note, I think I forgot to mention earlier that there is a spreadsheet for all the 1 tower challenges that I did, as well as 1 hero. Those who are curious about it, how the other heroes did compared to the other ones in which update. There will be a link to that in the description if you're curious. Now, on that note, I just realized that our highest round might actually not be much higher for the super buff Adora test, because if the problem is bad damage, then, well, we didn't really get too much help aside from the long armor light cooldown. Plus, again, remember that a majority of the buffs were to fortified damage, fortified balloons. Regardless, you never know what might change, so yeah. I'm looking forward to the Vengeful Adora though, because again, since that one got buffed with the ball light damage, there's a chance also. Void Adora looking real trippy at max buffs, as you see here. So it's important to maximize bad damage. So in that case, you want to put the long armor light on strong, because it targets whatever Adora's targeting. The normal attack should eventually get all the balloons anyways, no matter what targeting. But this is important. Alright, let's see here. So first 2 bads are popped. 2 out of 4 done. Keep on sacrificing for max attack speed, by the way. And I think if we get the next ball light ability up before they pop, we should be able to take the rest down. Just gotta make sure that it doesn't pop too early. That's important. So here we go. Come on, ball light. Now? Holy crap, that was so close. Okay, so we do beat 175, so that's good. Good to know that this test wasn't for nothing. Oh, another close call. Okay, we're fine. Okay, another 3 bats this round. We popped 2 of them, but I don't know if we have enough in the tank for all this. Yeah, this is gonna pop... Well, ideally, I don't pop this before it... we get the ball light ability up, so come on. One of the times you don't want damage. Okay, now we want it. Go, 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 quickly. Ah, still not enough. I don't think this is doable, guys, but I'll give it one more try this round. Alright, here we go again. One shot at this. Nope. Didn't get the ability up in time. Well, that's gonna do it. +1 round for Adora. Unfortunately, only one. So last but not least is the super buff Vengeful Adora. Now, I went ahead and actually did Vengeful this time, just for visual reasons, since I guess I didn't showcase the Void Adora skin when it came out, but here it is. Looking nice and spicy. And again, this ball light damage should be massive. You see, right now it's like almost 100k DPS. Pretty nasty overall. Like, look how quickly that damage is skyrocketing. Now, we have another ball light ability coming out right now. And yeah, it's looking much better this time. Those F-pads are pretty much almost dead. So by the next ability I have up, we should be able to beat it. Come on, DDT's here. Alright, cool. So I think we can get to 200 at this point. As for if it can beat 200, I'm not sure. If it is, it'll probably be really tight because, yeah, right now the biggest problem is that still the ball light doesn't have full uptime. With Energizer, it's closer to like 45%, I would say. Just safe to say, it'd probably be a different story if that was, yeah, permanently up. A lot of ZMGs this round, but again, should be fine. Look at that DPS, by the way. It's almost at... No, it's surpassing like 250k for a second. Still, our biggest issue is going to be space pads, because, yeah, it can only do all the damage to one at a time. Granted, the beam still does damage as well, but it's not as, reliable, let's just say. Okay, here's pad 3 and 4. Okay, I think we can do it. We have every ability at once now. And yeah, that should just absolutely melt the bad. Nice. 198 done. And it looks like round 199 is very easy, so there it is, we made it. Round 200, here we go. So all hands on deck here. If you slow it down, that total DPS on just one target looks to be about 20,000 per second or so. I think we might need more than 20k per second, honestly, to beat it. And yeah, ball light is about half uptime, you saw there. Looks like about a third of the HP is down so far. Good progress. Oh, okay, but I see the problem here. We are probably going to be the first one, but it's always the second one that we just don't have enough for, because it just comes too soon. It's never good when it comes too soon, let me just say. If you can beat the first one, I'll be satisfied, though. Come on. No ball light ability, though, so I might die to FTDTs. Come on. Don't die. Nope, we're dead. Okay, we need ball light for that as well, it seems. Yeah, not really sure what I could do here. I think the only solution would be just to do actually less damage so that we don't pop before the third ball light ability comes up. But you see, it's still too late. I'm just gonna actually not use level 3 though. Come on, can I stall? Nope. Can't stall for it. I'll try one more time though, but looks like +3 rounds is another, yeah. Another F-pad wall that we can't break. Yeah, this is just not looking possible. You see how late I get it? There's no way, even if I got up in time, we'd beat the insides of it without any slowdown. So that's gonna be a GG, guys. +3 rounds, 197 to 200, but still, hope you enjoyed. Still, overall solid buffs to Adora, and she continues to grow her lead, because 175 was previously already the highest round for a super buff hero, and one of the highest for the 1 tower challenge. So now, Sada, or Adora, ties Churchill and Geraldo for 111 in the normal test. So today we're super buffing a tower that's been hotly requested, and I figure it'll also be interesting to see how long it can survive, because there's a lot of potential to it. It's the bottom path Druid, the Avatar Wrath. Of course, before that, I think it's also a good idea to see how long the lower tiers of that path can survive. So first off, we're starting with an Avatar Wrath without a Populist army, just to see how we do. And just take a look on round 96 here. We don't even have full Ultra Snack boost on it yet, but it's already looking pretty darn strong, I would say. Now, I should mention that I haven't even done the life loss yet for the Druid of Wrath. So, in essence, we're missing still another half its power. We could get up to, I think, 90% more tank speed, because the Heart of Vengeance was changed a long time ago, so that you start with 10% more tank speed with a tier 2 without losing lives, which you can cap up to 100%. So, because of that, I've brought Azili along, so I could lose lives without having to calculate losing a ceramic. That being said, you saw how easy round 100 was? The very lasted a pretty long time. If I recall, I think the 2-2-0 Druid, I tried this super buff test a long time ago with it. That only got to round 103. So I think we're already going to get past that thanks to the insane attack speed with the Druid of Wrath. 015 is almost always going to be the best cross path for Avatar Wrath, but I'm not entirely sure if that's the case for the Druid of Wrath, but I want to believe so, because again, this thing gives more thorns versus lightning, which I feel like doesn't perform as well when you give max buffs to it versus an extra thorn. Those 1 damage, 1 pierce thorns go a very long way in getting it to be this strong. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty ridiculous for a tower that costs 1.5k. This is the furthest I've seen balloons go so far, but it's not even halfway in the track. I think I'll just drop a Zeal in the corner just to get ready to use the totem to lose lives. Actually, hold that thought. No Azili yet, because we're still holding very strong, even on 119 here. You see the FBAT damage? It's like thousands per second, which is why, again, lightning is not as good as Extra Thorn. Single target's insane. And yeah, it's an easy 119. Anybody surprised about this result so far? I think we finally reached a round where the Druid might fall. 131 has a lot of FZMGs. Oh wow, we almost naturally lost lives, but no, we still retain full lives with Man Shield. It's honestly kind of crazy to think that a max boosted 013 can perform better than... what towers have I tried so far? Well, I tried all the heroes already. This would already, I think, be in the upper echelon tier of max buff heroes, if it was one. We're talking about level 20 heroes. And at that, we're actually very close to the how far the Dart Paragon went for Degree 1. If you guys want to put any perspective on that, because that's pretty absurd. Anyways, we accidentally lost lives on round 135, so I guess I don't need Azili anymore. We've already instantly jumped. I was kind of hoping to do a slow progression of attack speed, like, you know, drain 10 lives every round to see the slow power increase, but I guess we'll just jump all the way. And in fact, it's very noticeable, as you can see how fast those darts are shooting out. Absolutely nutty. And if that's probably enough to beat an FBAT at 140, if it can take care of 138 first, which it does, passes the test. 138 is generally a tough round that a lot of max buff towers die to, so yeah. A good test to see there, how long it'll survive. And yeah, at this point, let me just slow down here to show you how much DPS we're getting out of this Druid. I would say about 3,000 per second. Now, I do know I have 2 hero buffs on this thing, the Open buff and the Azili buff. That's from the Gold Village mod, which there's not really much I can do. But that's it. I don't think the Open buff does much anyways, aside from a bit of extra range and Pierce, which I feel like I have almost infinite Pierce, so it's pretty negligible. That said, around 140. Taken care of, folks. Yeah, I think finally we've reached the power cap for this guy. Only took till 145, jeez. Yeah, I got no words for how long this thing survived, but that just sets me up for, I guess, how long the later tiers will survive. So now, the Populus doesn't really give any extra damage with just 1 Druid in the field, so now I'm gonna test a max buffed army. And now this, folks, is 5014 Druids added. I know these aren't max buffed at all. They don't have overclock stacks, they don't have, what you call the arms buff on some of them. This one's missing Golden Village, but this is mainly just to buff the main guy, alright? It's not to say the other ones won't be doing any damage, but yeah, this is, how much extra attack speed? I think it's 15% per Druid. I don't know if it's additive or multiplicative, but if it is additive, then that's an extra 75% attack speed, which should last us quite a long while. Okay, not gonna lie, I actually do kind of feel bad for this Druid, so I'm gonna replace my 5th one over here instead. You saw the pops pale comparison to even the unoverclocked pop plus over here. That's what no true Sun God buff does to an MF. Either way, looking strong in the 150s, near the 150s. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this in the max buff videos before, or if I did, it was probably a while ago, but the main premise of these max buff videos is generally to see how good these towers are in, like, a late game setting, because, you know, hypothetically, you will be having the true Sun God buff, you'll be having all these buffs, Overclock, Homeland, and all that. So, for anyone who does do late game runs, I think it's a good gauge to see which towers you want to prioritize, depending on, well, how well it does in this test. So, like, even though Paragons are generally the strongest, they actually may not be as good as some other just plain tier 5 towers in the late game, just because of how many buffs you can give them, and the fact that they can't buff Paragons, aside from just giving damage leakers or damage increasers like Super Riddle or Curve Moab. The reason why they're not used in these tests, though, is because some of their effects kind of hinder or get in the way of what we want to see. So, like, the Curve Moab stun, for example. Sometimes Super Riddle can freeze balloons, same with Blue Storm. Bluing balloons slowing them down. It's good to see the damage of towers without anything else involved in doing the damage or doing utility. But yeah, so far it's looking like you definitely want to put or use a mini Druid Wrath army for your late game runs. 165. We're already getting near a degree 100 Paragon territory with how long these things are surviving. Anyways, perhaps now we might be reaching around where the Populist army fails. I think it probably stretched out another round or two though, because I didn't do any targeting for these druids. As in, putting them on strong should help us. And yeah, this is the difference when I put the one druid on strong. We are now able to beat 167. Piece of cake. But yeah, when I said I could squeeze out a couple more rounds out of the Populist army, I meant quite a few actually. 172 and might still be able to beat this round. This is gonna be a close one, I would bet. BFB is nice. Ooh, DDTs here, there's a lot of them. Nothing we can do but leave it on first. Yeah, nah, that's just too many DDTs, so we'll call it there for the Populist army. Pretty massive. And now expect to destroy every round of the Avatar Wrath. This thing gains insane damage with this many balloons on the screen with late game. Yeah, you get up to plus 30 with the base attack, but when you max buff it, look how many 30 plus damage shots we have. Absolutely nutty amounts. Now I can see why this was hotly requested, and yeah. Surprised it took me this long to, you know, eventually try this one out, because it was no surprise. Just crunching the numbers, even in your head, you could tell this thing would do really good. Again, it's easy to tell what does better max buff when you just count number of projectiles. That's what we're looking at, and attack speed. That's why the Century Champion, if you remember, got to pass 200 in this test. And I got no hesitation this thing will get anywhere less than 200. Like, this is probably one of the most satisfying towers I've seen. Super buffed. In fact, you can even see sometimes it changing the color of its projectile, depending on the amount of balloons on screen. Like, when the round starts, it's going to be pretty dull colored, since it's not many RBD on screen. You see there? Pretty dark like Populists. But the moment a bat shows up, instantly max power. Actually, while we're still holding strong, I got rid of all the other Populists, just to see I could also do a further test of how long in un-Populist buff Avatar Wrath can survive. And even on 188 here, you can see it has no problem surviving on its own. Also, I have no idea why it still says one Populist buff, because I'm pretty sure you can't buff itself, but someone correct me if I'm wrong. But you see if I buy another one, it still says one. Do I finally get two? Yes, I do. So that's kind of strange. I think it's probably a bug from selling them or something. Either way, it shouldn't make that much of a difference, or it could just be visual. This could still make it to 200, it seems like, alone. Honestly, the damage of this guy is just nasty. If I just put on strong for a second, you can see just how quickly the bads die. Like, you see this? Oh my god. I don't think round 200 even stands a chance against the Avatar Wrath, folks. Again, I thought it would be a breeze going through it, but that was with the 5 Populus. I didn't think even without it, it would be able to hold this strong. Funnily enough, the hardest part seems to be the end of the round, where there's no more balloons left, and this thing has, you know, the minimal damage. But yeah, again, just look at this, guys. I'm gonna pop the F-Bat here. I'm gonna put it on strong, just to whittle down that bat faster. And folks, that's how you beat 198, the easiest way. And now, folks, the moment you've been waiting for, round 200. How much DPS are we getting per second on this guy? Well, that's way more than 10,000 per second. I'm thinking like 20,000? Probably 25,000 DPS. And yeah, here's the homeland. Feel like it's up to 30,000. Absolutely nutty. If you saw the recent Legend of the Night buff one I did, I think that one was only at 10,000. So you could just imagine that. 40k tower, out DPSing something at 200k. But that's not really a surprise, again. Because we already know this thing is best when there's the most balloons on screen. But honestly, I'm just, yeah, no more words to say after this. Oh! Wait a minute. Okay, maybe I spoke too soon. But we actually died to the supposedly easiest part of this challenge, which is that last balloon. Perhaps here's what I'll do. Instead of targeting the ZMGs, I'll put this thing on last. Focus the F-Bad down earlier. Think anything changes? Well, take a look here. Oh my god, it might still die. Okay, we lost 50 lives that time. I'll take it. I'll take it. That's crazy. That actually means this may not survive, well, at least the one alone may not survive as long as you think. I think once you add the Populus, though, we have so much extra weak damage, you know? So that will aid in, you know, the toughest part, which is the end of the balloons, end of the round. Perhaps 204 here? Oh, I think we could probably beat that round without it, but just for the sake of speeding things up, we'll go ahead and do the max buff. Plus, this is more realistic. No one's ever going to run a Pop Lust or an Avatar Wrath of a Pop Lust army late game, right? So here we go. Here's 5, and we'll see the difference now. Should be a substantial difference for beating the inside tier, right? Yes, sirree. 5 Pop Lusts add up. But yeah, with that, we have officially surpassed the highest round with max buff towers for non-Paragons. So this is King, folks. Looks like if you've got your Paragons already, you want to go for the Avatar Wrath next. But yeah, for these rounds, targeting is pretty much of the utmost importance, because the only reason we're surviving this long is because of the single target damage. So pretty much at all points, should be targeting strong aside from first, if wounds are leaking. I think this is the first round in a while where we've had 2 F-Bads, pretty spaced apart, so this could be a tough one. Like, even if I beat the second F-Bad here, which it's gonna be tight, there's still 3 Bads after that. So yeah, good luck. Back to first here for a bit. Leave it on first for the ZMGs or DTs. Gotta be in strong now. And pray we can beat the ZMGs on the last bend. Come on. Not quite. Not quite enough. We'll give it one more go here, but it seems like this could be it. Yep. Think this is the end of the road, folks. I have it on first this time for a bit longer, but even then, 2 Bads remaining. I don't think there's enough damage. If there is, oh my god. But nah. It's pretty close though, but that's gonna be it. 219 smashes the record for the longest a tower can survive, so yeah. I'm not surprised it's number 1, but I am surprised that it's number 1 by a long shot. That's all I have to say. So, Legend Light got a huge buff last update, and we're here to see how much of a difference it makes in the 1 tower test. So, let's go ahead and begin on around 110. The Legend was probably one of the only towers that got a buff last update, and it's pretty big. So first off, the damage was increased from 5 to 10, the base damage that is. And then they also have ceramic and mob bonuses. It was increased from 2 to 4 for the ceramic bonus, and then Moabs from 3 to 8. So basically, in essence, the Legend had 7 ceramic damage last update, and now that's up to 14, essentially double the damage. And the mob bonus from 8 to 18, so even more than twice the damage. And yeah, I didn't test how long one Legend could survive before this update, because the only time I did 1 super, it obviously wasn't affordable. So this is not technically a 1 super test. This is just a Legend chest, because you can't save up for Legend Knight without farming. And that's what my test relied upon back in the day. But just if you want a reference point, the Super Monkey, one Super Monkey survived up to 138 on easy mode. So we're gonna see, well, if one Legend beats that out. Anyways, round 18, 119 here. Should be pretty easy. So you leave it on strong, or leave it in the middle, that is. Well, so far it seems like we have a pretty good chance of beating 138, because right now, Legend doesn't really need much help for these rounds. I think for the 1 super test, I had to buy and resell the Anabun many times just for the ability to come up again. For the Legend, I can't do that though, in case you're wondering. They patched the quote-unquote exploit, where you could refresh the portal faster if you buy back the Legend. I think it's now just a flat 2 minutes, so we can really only use it once, sadly. Hopefully it won't be this round that we need to use it. Because yeah, this is basically infinite fortified DTs, which is death for many towers. And it looks like Legends fall behind, which means Portal will need to be activated very soon. Although it looks like it's kind of holding its ground right now. Alright. No Portal activated. Very nice. Now, I think for round 140 here, I have to pull out all the stops. By that, I mean, I should maximize the bad damage. So what I'll do is I'll start the Legend of the Night up here so that I have the cooldown up, so I can Dark Shift it back to the middle. Because right now I need all the damage I can get. The entrance is good, and then once it's out of range, we'll Dark Shift it back to the middle, like over here. And then of course, when it's back up again, Dark Shift it to the top right corner. I don't think it's gonna be enough to make a difference though, but we can only hope. I don't think that's... Yeah, that's not halfway, and we're halfway in the track. Unfortunate, but at least we can... Actually, wait, I forgot. We have the portal ability. Why don't we just use our 1 portal for the F-Pad and then just pop the normal pad? That probably seems like a better idea, right? Yes, that appears so, yeah. I'm not popping that without the portal, so we're gonna restart this round. Okay, so Super Monkey at last. This one should be a very easy kill. Unless I'm trolling. Still, we'll want to use some Dark Shift Micro, just in case. Hopefully, the DTs don't sneak by while our Dark Shift is off cooldown, come on. Okay. Now we're good. Let's put it back on last with the ZMGs here. And back to first, and yep. There we go. Hopefully 141 isn't too hard, otherwise I'm pretty much dead. The thing is, 2 minutes isn't as long as you think, because the time it takes for like a ZMG or a bat to get to the exit here might as well be 2 minutes for every round. So I think I'm okay with not having to restart this round. By that I mean I'm gonna let the portal leak and then just hopefully DJs don't kill us at start 142. Another portal, see? 2 minutes already came up that time. And speak of the devil, DDT is... I might need a dark shift this, if we're being honest. Yeah, dark shift. Okay, I think we can micro this to win. Let's try a bit of last for DDTs and then back to first. Maybe Straight Line Action's better, because that would maximize the pierce of this, like that. Yeah, I see it. It's shooting down the second last lane there, but it's still not enough. Well, it appears I might be screwed here, because I don't know what else I could really do. It's so close, though, to working. God, that's one DDT. Okay. Maybe just a bit more micro. Alright, let's try something silly. I'm gonna put this on the right side. Maybe it'll isolate DDT's damage. Wait for it, wait for it. I mean, now. Straight line action down this line here. This means I don't have another dark shift, though. For the exits. Oh, this is equally as close. Not sure there's really much else I can do here, but pray, come on. Oh my god, there we go. Holy crap, we did it. Now, we can't die to this part, because the portal's still not up. Swear to god, thank you, thank you. Okay. Alright, there's a chance, guys, there's a chance. We just gotta dark shift it back into range to pop the ZMGs here. And yeah, again, no shopping these bats, so you know what I'm gonna do? Let's, make sure we don't pop it, because these will all exit within, I think, a 12-second time span. That's how long the portal lasts. Please be 12 seconds, guys. Alright, 142 is done. Now, I'm pretty sure these 3 bats are more than 12 seconds apart, so I'm probably gonna have to restart this round. Let's see, yep. I gotta beat the last bad for 143. And as you guys expect, the only way to do that is to put the thing, Legend of the Night, charging on last. And hope for the best. Alright, so this bad is about to pop here. Let me switch to first when DTs pop. Come on. Get him. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Don't pop this bad here. Now we gotta hope that we have enough damage for the 2 ZMGs here. I am, of course, going to have to target like this. Wait for it. Wait for it. Now. Come on. Burst down the ZMGs. Nice. I swear it's only a matter of time until, yeah, this thing dies to something. Oh, yeah. This is a lot of DTs. Is it the end? Not quite. Wow, Legend can sure pack a punch. Let me just say. Once again, there's more bats about to pop quickly, so that we don't pop it, and then get the portal activated. Nice, 144 done. Alright, this is another round where, there's 2 bats are probably too far apart, so I'm going to have to do some micro here. Pop, will ya? Ah, crap. We barely have enough damage for 1 bat. I think this might be the end, folks. Scaling is starting to catch up to us. Yeah, even when I'm trying to isolate the damage, this is way too much. Like, even if you get the portal to leak for the, whatchamacallits, the balloons here, I don't think there's, anything I can do. What I do have right now is I have mobs and a bad leaking, so I could tank that, but there's no way to beat the ZMGs here. That's the problem. I mean, you can handle 2 bats, but nah, definitely not this. So that's a GG. 145, though, is pretty damn good, I would say. Beats the anti-balloon by 7 rounds, which is good now, because, yeah, now the 200k you spend on this upgrade isn't just for the ability. You also get some good damage with the Super Monkey. Very cool. Now, that's not all. One more thing we're going to test here is how long a max buff Legend Knight can survive. If you recall, I did a video on this quite a while ago, and that got to 190 before the buff. So I figure with this, we can get a good comparison of after the buff. Also, you might be wondering where the Golden Village mod went and why I'm using the True Sun God. Well, 2 reasons. One, because in the first test I did, that was actually what I used, because the mod wasn't out yet, I don't think. And 2, mods broke this update, so that happened. Either way, it's still a good comparison versus last time, since we have the same, whatchamacallits, same factors going into it. Again, this True Sun God does, like, under 5% of the usual max buff towers damage, so it likely won't change around too much, like plus 1 round, 2 round at most, if I had to guess. Anyways, if I recall, the mid 180s was when I had to start using the portal. And then at that point, it took another 5 rounds for the legend to actually fall. So again, we'll use those rounds as benchmarks to see how much better we're doing. Also, I feel like it's good to reiterate this every time I do a max buff test, but with damage buffs, it isn't quite 2x like it was with the 1 Super Monkey test, because we're getting so many added buffs from the P-Brew, the True Sun God. Altogether, it gives us, I'm not sure exactly, but like +6. So this buff is more like a 50 to 60% overall damage increase when you add all the max buffs to it, which is still good, don't get me wrong. I suppose we'll see if that percent increase is still enough to get to 200 though. I guess there's also one problem with having the True Sun God down here, is that remember that I have to keep dark shifting the Legend of Night to different places if I want to maximize the damage. So at some points, I might actually lose the True Sun God bonus. Not sure what I can do about that, but I guess we'll see what to do when the time comes. I think last time I just dealt with it. I was just like, oh, it's out of range. Well, oh well. That's my fault for putting it in that corner or having a dark shift there. You also lose the Called Arms buff because it's only local. But we think we can fix that easily, but just by moving the Called Arms. It's a little bit harder to move the True Sun God, you know. You gotta build an entirely new temple. Not that it's not feasible, but this is a good place so it doesn't do too much damage. So 3 million versus 68. Again, do the math, that's under 5%. That being said, the damage bonus is definitely noticeable. We're already at 189 and there's no sign of trouble. Although maybe this might be the first time trouble. We have 2 bads that I might not be able to pop. So maybe it's worth dark shifting away. Let's see if that's 12 seconds apart. I'm gonna use the portal here, because why not? Alright, here we go. Beat this round and then we're good. And looks like we are good. Don't even need the portal for this round, right? It's kind of close. Oh no, I do need it. Okay. Hang on. Let's dark shift out of range here. So I'll lose the bonus. That's okay. We'll get it in range ASAP. So hopefully I don't lose too much DPS. But yeah, there we have it. We're past 190, and okay, this is the worst nightmare. 3 space pads. We gotta beat it. Which one do we take? That's the first question. I think the second one has the most damage done, so I'll put it back in close here. The first one seems like we can't pop. Maybe I'll take that one. Although it kind of messed up with targeting, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I messed this one up. Let's go ahead and redo it. Not gonna lie, kind of crazy how much one round can change things. There's no way I feel like a damage buff this big only gets you 1 round. I think it's just a difficult spike to 191. We're doing the worst this round, by the way. So that's a big rip there. Okay, I'm looking there. We can actually tank 2 of the bads on 191 because they're going so fast. So I only need to beat the last one. That's good to know. I think the biggest problem is that there's so many FZMGs, but I'm gonna have to just take my time, I guess. Utilize any last carding whenever needed, whenever possible. Wanna beat these UMGs, I'm going to switch instantly to last, like this. Even with that, there's like not enough time to pop it. God, this is rough. Yeah, I'm not gonna... Yeah, this is not gonna exit in time, I don't think. Nope. Oh, hang on, guys. I believe there's a stupid bug going on. So, retry last round still finicky. As you see, there's only 1 buff given with the True Sun God. I think that's why it was looking so bad. So I just gotta make a new one. Fix that glitch. And you see, this time we're popping things way earlier. So yeah, that solves my suspicion. We already popped that last F-Bad. In fact, we might even be able to pop all of them. But since I know I can tank it, I might as well, right? Yeah. Let's not stick around too much here. So portal and 191. Easily taken care of. Hopefully we don't run into that stupid bug again. But again, I guess it's a pretty easy fix. You just gotta be alert when we end up losing an icon. This is another 2 F-Bad round. Should I pop this? No. Let's just take the 2 bads. Again, might as well utilize the portal if we can, right? Alright, 197 and going strong. It definitely looks like we can make it to 200 at this rate. Although for that round, do you think we can beat a single F-Bad? I don't think we can. I don't think the bads are spaced apart that it's 2 minutes apart as well, but I could be wrong. We'll see. This round's looking like a round from hell. We got 4 spaced F-Bads, so again, we probably got to beat 3 of them, so we're gonna have to utilize a lot of strong targeting. And I don't think we're popping this, nah. Okay. Maybe 3 and 4 can exit at the same time I'm looking at. So that means we gotta beat the first one. And it looks like I lose the True Sun God buff every single time. So good to know that I need to rebuy this every single time. Alright guys, so this time we've hyper-focused the second bad down. And hopefully this time, we'll be able to pop it, and hopefully tank 1 and 2. So again, top left corner. And please be 12 seconds apart. Or 10. Nice. Alright. One more round to go, guys. Until the ultimate one. Alright, so what do we got? We got 2 bads. Alright, that's beatable. And a third bad. Yeah, definitely don't need a portal for this one. We'll make sure it's charged for 200. Alright, so let's take a look at the damage. Let's slow it down, actually, just to see how much damage Legend Knight is getting at once. We'll wait for the Homeland ability first off. So watch this, guys. Oh, that's like over 10,000 per second. Not too shabby, but I think we need more than 10k per second to pop an F-Bat here, right? Oh no, we're actually popping it. Hang on, hang on. There's some promise then. There's some promise. So seeing as I died to the DDT spawns... oh wait, no, it didn't die that time. Okay. So I can still pop this. I just got to make sure to move it to the left side at the last moment. Okay, I don't have to. Nice. Okay, cool. We can tank this lad. Nice, nice, nice. 200 is done. And that adds another tower that gets past the 200 mark when max buffed. Although I suppose you could say for that round, the extra 3% damage of the temple might have actually made a difference. Also, retry last round is an amazing thing, because now we just completely lost my Legend Knight. That's just absolutely silly. And with that said, that's probably a good place to call, because I saw there was an F-Bat that round, and since it's stronger than the round 200 F-Bat, and you saw we didn't have the cooldown up, because we used it for the end of 200. Apparently that was not 2 minutes. Yeah, I think it's safe to say we've reached our limit, so that is all. Hello and welcome to some more super buff tests. Today we're doing the Boomerang, more specifically, the perma-charge, a tower that shoots really fast, so I think it'll do pretty well. Now, this is something I actually already kind of did technically before. However, that time, I think it was with all tier 5 Boomerangs. Is that better, max buffed, versus a Boomerang Paragon video? In that one, well, I did the tier 5 Glaive Lord, perma-charge, and the Mob Dom, but now I'm just gonna do one of them. But not just that too, because I think in that one, I also was a Dum Dum, and I went for the 250, so I'm just gonna say it right now, yes. 250 is not better than 052. If you want proof, then maybe I can show you at the end, but we're gonna go with the 052 perma-charge for the end of this one. On top of that, that was back when I did hard mode for these tests, but now I've basically streamlined everything on easy mode, because, well, I want to see the highest round possible, and easy would get that, since in hard mode, balloons do move a little bit faster, and that's really the only thing that's more difficult from hard to easy. Well, aside from prices, but since we have $9 million, prices do not matter. So I've also streamlined everything to start basically at a lower tier before trying the higher tiers, because it's also pretty interesting to see how far those will survive, I feel like. Now, I am starting with the base Boomerang. Usually I start with the tier 3 of the tower, but why not? I think it's fun to see, and I don't think I tried this before, so any bets on how far this will last? Well, Fortified seemed to be a big problem, seeing as 89 went, so yeah, maybe this round might be it. And if that's the end, then I will go ahead and upgrade. And yeah, we failed pretty miserably there, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip tier 1s because it's basically the same thing. Let's go fast rings and red hot rings. Yeah, I bet that +1 damage of the red hot rings is gonna do huge for us, but it's really just the attack speed. Honestly, if we're talking about the tier 2, I would say 220 is better than 022, because again, with this thing already gets probably 10 damage with all the buffs combined, but you could probably use like 9 pierce more than +1 damage in that case. But the thing is, this Red Hot Rings upgrade doesn't just give you +1 damage when you get to tier 5. They changed it so that it gets you way more than that. So I think 250 still only gives you +9 pierce. To be exact, the Red Hot Rings give you +4 damage when cross path, an extra +2. So basically +6 compared to, well, 250. And that's with the ability active, by the way. If not active, +4. But we should have a pretty low, like, cooldown on the ability since we already have Energizer. And don't forget, don't underestimate the 20% cooldown reduction of the expertise too. So when we combine those together, perma-charge might literally be perma-charge. Also, 98 seems to kill us, right? With 022, yeah. Well, time to upgrade to Bio Boomer, I guess. And this thing will be so much better because, well, in case you can't see by the description here, it also does extra damage to mob class balloons, but that's not it. It's the attack speed that we're looking at. Because obviously that skill is better than, like, additive damage buffs, when we're talking about it already having so much other damage buffs. And fun fact, this Bio Boomer almost shoots 3 times as fast when you upgrade to 020 to 030, so That's pretty massive, and yeah. I also forgot to mention that, well, if you didn't see in the previous one, I've added a new DPS counter, so it's easier for you guys to see just how much damage we're doing. I think on a single target, the Boomerang was doing like 400, 500. So in case you're ever curious about just how much damage we're doing without me needing to say it or estimate it, then just take a look at the top right corner and you will be satisfied with your request. I think I'm seeing 10k at Ty's peak. That's before it even gets Pierce Cap, so I think we have potential for even more. Again, I'm pretty sure 230 will give us more DPS, given like rounds like this where there's like so many ZMGs. Yeah, you don't see the ranks loop around. That means you're hitting the Pierce Cap. And it looks like 032 is just barely enough to beat this round. I probably could have done a bit of micro, like left and right hand kind of makes a big difference when we're talking about boomerangs here and maximizing potential. Also, if you just look ahead to the next upgrade, Turbocharge, this doesn't actually make the Bio Boomer itself better. Like, that is, if you buy it and don't use the ability, it's literally the exact same as the Bio Boomer. But once you have the ability up, well, it obviously shoots a lot faster. To be exact, it actually does 7 times the amount of attack speed, which was pretty crazy, because I thought, well, I didn't think it was that much, but turns out it really is that strong. Of course, the problem with it is that you can't have it all the time, so I don't think that will, or rather, the uptime of that ability is going to be the deal breaker in how far we get. So we're really going to need to manage our abilities well if we want to see how long it survives until we get perma-charge. But I'm not going to try too hard. Most of the try-harding comes with the tier 5, because I really want to see, well, how far I can push the tier 5 tower to the limits. Because that's what everyone's here for, right? The spectacle of the tier 5. Now, looks like we're actually getting 600 DPS. Well, actually, we're hitting 2 moves in one, so my bad. It's probably just 400. Is that enough to kill a bat? I don't think so. Actually, I lied. It is enough. Although, I don't know if we can get all 3. That's why I'm leaving on strong, so that we can kind of focus bats first. We can kind of deal with the ZMGs later, I think, right? Yeah, we can kind of get them just by hitting it. So back to strong. This will be pretty close, but I think we have another tank. Oh, hang on. Homeland is about to wear out, so DDTs might be a problem. No, we're fine. And there is 119. Okay, we live to see a couple more rounds at least. Generally, if you beat 119, you can kind of beat the next 5 rounds, because I don't recall 120 to 125 being much of a problem. It's kind of nice that they streamlined rounds 101 to 140, so, you know, everyone knows what's coming. Makes me wonder when they're going to streamline, or if they have plans to streamline rounds even past that. Sounds like it'd be a nice thing to do up to a point, just because, well, it'd make things more consistent. And also, we seem to get Pierce Cup done 124, so I'm just go ahead and buy that Turbocharge. Turns out I lied about the next 5 rounds being a Braze. Well, if your tower has good single target, but no Pierce, then that's kind of what happens, I guess. And wow, there's like, it's just BFBs this round. And that was a problem. Well, as you see, 7 attack speed is just absolutely crazy. We just wiped out those BFBs. And I'm just kind of curious. I'll use it again, even though it's not that hard. I just want to see what the uptime is now that we've got the 20% cooldown stacking twice. So that looks to be about 60% uptime. Not bad. Just in case you didn't know, the normal turbocharge ability has a 45% cooldown with only a 10-second uptime. Although I think with Monkey Knowledge, you can make it last 5 seconds longer, I believe. And perma-charge actually has lower cooldown and fast uptime, so we'll be getting a lot more than 60% uptime on that one. So that'll be nice. I hate to want to use turbocharge for the end of the rounds, but I think I have to for the ZMGs here. I just gotta kind of have the hope that we don't run into, well, FDTs in our downtime, which these are not, so we're fine. Yeah, don't mind us just use turbocharge to just wipe out the ZMGs here. And how much DPS are we doing? I think I saw up to 40k at one point. This is a good time to use it to maximize Pierce. Oh, 65k. Pretty correct, gotta say. Okay, I think I gotta use it this round. DTs are starting to push on us. Again, it'd be ideal if I could end the round without any cooldown left on the turbocharge, just so, well, I'm not calling my pants down for the next round. That might be potentially hard. Like, for example, I want to use it on 137, but if it kills the round too quickly, I might back out. Yeah, case in point, a round like that, I just kind of have to hope, I guess, that the main Bio Boomer can beat the ZMGs. I don't think so. Actually, I'll use the ability now so that I have uptime for 138 here, but I don't think it'll make a difference either way, because I'm pretty sure the downtime is too long that we'll just die. Although maybe there's a chance. Can we hold off? Can we hold off? Back to first. Come on. Ability. I got it. Okay, I think we can actually make it through. If this round can end, I know 138 is known to be very long. Very, very long, and we're seriously going to die with no seconds left on the time of it. Unlucky. And I think when you restart last round, if you use the ability, like on the previous round, it doesn't go into the next round, so that's really sad. Because I think we probably could have beaten 138 with a bit more micro, but we're never going to see that. Well, time for perma-charge, I guess. And now I can see, well, it's basically a turbocharge active at all times. In fact, a little bit stronger than that, because this thing just gains, remember, plus 4 damage with the red hot rings now, on top of a bit extra damage just by getting the perma-charge itself. And if you want to take a look at single target DPS now, looks like about 5k, so it's very similar to the Infernal Ring Meteor. Now, if I activate it, how high do we go? 8,000? Oh, I forgot we didn't have Homeland active, so that might go even higher. Let's see, 10,000. 11,000, okay. Not too shabby, so it edges out the Infernal Ring a little bit at its highest peak. But do remember that this thing isn't like a full map, or it can't affect everything at once. You really only affect things in that loop. Also, fun fact about the perma-charge, if you didn't know, but when you use the ability, it actually doesn't make things any faster. In fact, the description itself doesn't say, it just says increase the lethality. So yeah, all you really get is plus 8 damage, or rather plus 10, now that you got the 052 crosspath, which does matter, of course. It did basically double your TPS, but it's not as great of a spike as, well, turbocharge, where it gets 7 times stronger, which is pretty nuts. That's good, though, because I don't want to be relying on the ability too much. Speaking of which, I guess we can go ahead and try the ability uptime right now. Yeah, it's faster and shorter than the turbocharge, and it looks like, yeah, it's pretty close to full. Well, not full, but maybe 85%. You think in that case, if it's that high, should I just go for a tech bot and not have to worry about, like, you know, pressing the ability? Because I feel like there's no point really timing the ability if the uptime is near 100. So yeah, sure. Also, don't mind the engineers casually chilling in the corner, taking away a small amount of pops. The reason why I use these, by the way, because some of you might notice that, hey, doesn't the TSG Village give overclock buffs? Well, last time I tried it, there were a couple issues in terms of retry last round and crashing, which is why I have to add those overclocks, just to make things a bit more smooth, even though, well, they do take away pops. A very small amount, that is. But don't worry, at least I made sure to point their foam away from the track and into the water itself, you know. Just casually shooting their white stuff into the pool. Just clean it up. Also, in case for those who don't know, we do have to go for 2 overclocks, because when they nerf the Ultra Boost, so it only works 3 times a round, if the round lasts long enough, I may not be able to use Ultra Boost. Yeah, you see right here. The icon's grayed out, so I can't even get the normal Ultra Boost ability, or the overclock ability on it, which is really annoying. Like, I know they nerfed it so that you don't, like, get infinite Ultra Boost stacks in one round just from stalling around forever, but not being able to just use the normal overclock on it is just a bit sad. Now, looks like we are starting to get very far with the bads. I don't think I mentioned this at the start, but the all tier 5 boomerangs, when I did it, they got to 192. Again, that was on hard mode, so take it with a grain of salt. Thing is, the perma-charge kind of carried that run, though, because I feel like a max buff Mob-Dom and Glaive Lord won't do nearly as good. So if I had to guess, we might get pretty close to that on easy mode, that is. I think easy hard probably gives you, like, 5 to 10 more rounds, but that's just a guesstimate. And what isn't a guesstimate is DPS counter. Not that is fully accurate. I'm still not seeing a peak any higher than 200 or the low 200s, which, well, I guess that's about as high as it goes. Yeah, now we really got to start doing some micro, so I'm gonna go ahead and put on strong. Switch to first whenever, well, things are about to exit. And that almost killed us, which is not a good sign. Looks like 177 is gonna kill us. Oh, really? Not right now. Now, funnily enough, I think what killed us there was the fact that the Boomerang ability wasn't up, so I actually might take it off Tech Bot, just to maybe delay it a couple seconds. Like, for example, I'll use it now just to change things up. Maybe I'll even do some targeting if I still can't beat it, but yeah, these fortified DTs, man. We pretty much need the ability active for that part. So here we go. Ability is active, and you see that makes a difference. When I didn't have for those, like... Oh, I still don't have it. Wow, okay. Well, you did see it was a lot closer, so I guess now we just gotta do a bit more careful micro. So again, wait a little bit, use the ability, re-tech bot it, and to maximize DPS, we'll put it on last to focus DTs first. And the fortified ones at that, so come on. Switch to first whenever it's getting far. How about now? First. Please. Nice. And now if we can clean up 177, that would be nice. Cool. And here are 4 bats this round. Yeah, this is going to be pretty hard to deal with. That last bat has like no HP or no damage done on it. I also just lost 1 billion lives, but I'm alive, so if I can survive, I will take it. Nah, we're going to leak another ceramic, okay. What can we do this round? Well, probably just better targeting. So it's going to be really annoying, because I got to leave it on strong the entire time, but if a balloon is about to exit, then I have to switch first, and then back to strong basically immediately. So DTs here must put on strong, or first saw ceramic. Looks like we're doing a little better this time around, but man, that last bat is still so far. Yeah, so I think now we gotta sacrifice some damage on the initial bats to do more to the last part, I think, because yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay, my new tactic this round is literally just leave it on strong the entire time, because apparently I can survive even the regulars, so this is definitely looking a little bit better. Alright, so set on last, back to first VTs, and then back to last. Come on. Oh yeah, we definitely popped the ZMG there, so all we have to deal with is 1 bat, and if I can beat the DTs in that short time frame, then I win. Please win, okay. ZMGs, come on. Oof, down to 30 lives. We needed every little bit of that. Good thing we didn't leak any lives prior to this round. Otherwise, that would have been a problem. Okay, 185. Looks like we got a bunch of fortified DTs making their way up here. This might be the end. Well, let's see how close we get at least. So, first, can we at least get the second bad? And third bad? Well, we're gonna... Yeah, we're not even gonna be able to beat the insides of the second bad. Well, I'll give it a couple more attempts, but it looks like this round's looking pretty bleak. So yeah, we want to try to get as many bats as possible with the Rang attack. So, right now it's only getting that 1 bad there. So I'm gonna do last with left hand, I don't know. Back to first for DTs. Back on strong. Alright, strong left hand. Oh yeah, this one's looking way better. We're almost got bad number 3 down. And now we should just focus all our damage on the last bad. But that's still, again, a lot of HP left. I don't know. Come on, back on first to snipe. Good. Hey, there's actually a chance here. However, that's provided if we can break down the Moabs in time. Okay. Wow, okay. I'm surprised we actually made it through 185 there. Okay, there's no way to beat 186 though. 5 bats this time. 2-2-1 formation. Yeah, not to mention the amount of F-ZMGs that are cockblocking us. Like, it took us so long to get rid of those F-ZMGs that we have, like, no damage on the bats now. And looks like we are not even close this round. Alright, couple more tries. Yeah, not a chance, I don't think. I think the bats are just too close together. Even though they are spaced, like, they're spaced perfectly that... I mean, it'd be easier if they were even further apart. Or if they were stacked, but yeah, this is the worst of both worlds. So, that's a GG. Now, as I said at the very start, in case you're not convinced that 250 is not better, then let me just go ahead and get that real quick. And get 10 stacks on it. So, 9 stacks and 10 stacks. And, well, I mean, the Pierce means it'll be easier to break all these F-ZMDs down and get through to the bats, but still having that much less damage on it is gonna suck. Yeah, as you see, it's doing a lot worse. We haven't even killed the F-ZMDs yet, and the bats are equally as damaged, so yeah. 186 is still not bad, though, for a 30k tower. In fact, pretty good, and actually beats out the degree 100 Boomerang Paragon, for those who don't know, so... Just some food for thought if you're wondering if you should go for a Paragon or a max buff perma-charge. Hints, this might be a little better, although I guess you don't have the knockback. But I was just talking about in terms of damage. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching. Again, any suggestions on other things I should super buff, leave a comment, and maybe I'll do it. See you next time.